Okay, this is my solar greenhouse project, which I'm in the middle of. I'm going to explain how I did it. I started with building a box around the area. I did a 24 foot by 13 foot, and that seemed to work out perfect for the area I had. And also in this Gothic arch design, it also looks really nice. So first you get your box level. Then what I did is I pounded in my 1.25 inch PVCs first. This PVC right here is a 6 foot long 1.25 inch PVC. Slid inside of it is a 1 inch. Now these 6 foot long ones I pounded into the ground 24 inches. I would have liked to have gone 30 because that's our frost depth, but I had a heck of a time getting them in 24. It's easier if the ground is very moist. So then what I did is I bought some 22.5 degree elbows, and I glued them, as you can see in this piece right over here, just gluing the last one. So yeah, I just glued it, and then what I did is I drilled a guide screw down in the back side right. I did a little pilot drill through the 1.25 inch, and I just put a little screw in there, and I did that down 1 foot, so when I slid these pipes in, it would have something to stop on. So after you put both of those in, you can see the next thing I've done up here is I have put a little, I used 1.25 inch, the connectors for 1.25 inch, but I think it's going to work really nice on that angle. I just bend them a little bit. I drilled a hole all the way through, and I'm going to use carriage bolts, and I'll be able to tighten that ridge beam up. On my end wall units, you can kind of see the layout that I did. Really easy. Did my header at 80 inches. With a single, I used pressure treat lumber, which I know some people don't like that, but I thought that'd be the easiest to use instead of doing redwood and staining it or painting it. So, and I just doubled those up. I'm going to put a ridge beam all the way across the top, and then I've also got more bracing I'll do, which you'll see in a video here shortly. On my sides, you can see I did a brace board right here that connects those down like this, just to keep those end walls vertical. Did that on both ends. Down here I used wood lag screws, which I piloted. I used 1/4 inch on everything. And then these ones are bolts that actually go all the way through into the pipes. You can see that. I'm also putting up a hip board right here, which I just have tacked up. I'm going to get my ridge lined up first, and then I'm going to do a carriage bolt through here on each of my ribs or bows. Now these long 1 inch PVC was just a 20 footer that I cut in half. Glued it into the 22.5, and it just creates a perfect bow, and it's a perfect size for this big of a garden. I've spaced these ribs 4 feet on center. So you can see I chose a 13 by 24. You could do any size that you want, but the reason I decided to do this Gothic arch is I saw someone in the next town over that had a full half-round hoop house. It lasted great all winter, but in the spring we had a really heavy wet snow, and it collapsed his whole house. So I thought I would do this. I'm also going to run a wire, and you'll see that later, from about right here over to right here with an eye bolt. So if there is weight on the roof, it will try and expand these, and that wire will keep it taut. So we should have a really strong ridge there. Hope this helps. Okay, we're just getting ready to throw the plastic over the top. Not a day too early. This weekend is supposed to start really storming and have possibility of snow, so that's what it looks like. Okay, inside you can see that I've put these wires to run across. I essentially just put an eye bolt through there, and I put a double latch on it, one going each direction, just in case a guy at the hardware store told me that would be a lot stronger. I also did these corner braces, and I just bolted them right through there on this end, and then up on this top end you can see I've got one big wood lag bolt coming through my top hoop, my corner brace, and then also my top lateral bracing there. Okay, when I cut my plastics for the end, I cut it just a little wider than my end piece. I forgot about needing to wrap it all the way around this, so I'm just tacking a piece under my stripping that I'm going to have on top and wrapping it around this and then all the way back around here, and then that way I'll be able to put my roll-up sides on after the fact. Okay, that's what it looks like all done. I do have to put a few more screws in it. I ran out, and I still got to put my venting in the top, up in that little area. I'm going to get some plexiglass and some hinges and just build some, and then I'm also going to screen that whole thing fully on both ends. And I should be good to go. It's probably about 52 degrees out right now, but if you walk inside that thing, it is a freaking sauna.